It's hard to fathom, but for the last time this year in the college football regular season, Kenny White is going to bang the desk. It is bangthebook.com.
I'm mad.
Final week of the regular season. We've got conference championship games, and we're going to focus on the Big Ten championship. Ohio State, Michigan State. Buckeyes 5.5, totals 51.5. There has been money on the Spartans. This could be old school football. First, we start about the running prowess of Ohio State. You almost fell off your chair when you saw these numbers.
Yeah, amazing. Their last 5 games, they've gone over 300 yards every game. Over 8 yards a carry in those games. 1,888 rushing yards the last 5 football games. Unbelievable what Ohio State's doing right now.
Carlos Hyde, 226 yards rushing, 1 touchdown in the massive survival game for Ohio State against Michigan.
No, they should have wrapped that up, I think, a lot earlier, and it should have never come down to that. But, give Michigan credit for battling back, and I'm glad they did, looking at those underdogs in these big games.
Believe me, I understand why they were doing it, just because of the system. But now after all the whining for weeks on end from Ohio State, they maybe, I'll say maybe, control their own destiny. I think it depends how that Auburn-Missouri game goes. But all the pressure in the be careful what you wish for. All the pressure in the world's on them.
No doubt about it. This will be a big pressure game for them. But they have the talent to do it. But they are playing the best team they've played, I think, this year in Michigan State, and the number 1 defense in the country, allowing just 3.8 yards a play.
This defense will punch you in the mouth. Well, your old mantra has always been take the better defense and the points. Well, this isn't the better defense. This is the best defense.
One of the best. I don't know if they are the best. Florida State and Alabama's defense may be a little bit better. They've played a more difficult schedule. Right now, statistically, they are number 1. This is indoors, going to be playing in Lucas Oil Stadium, controlled environment. I'm looking at the total, and I'm looking at Ohio State's totals this year. This is the lowest total they've played at. Their lowest one before that was 54.5 points against Iowa, another defensive team. That game fell 58, went over. Michigan State, it's the second highest total they played to. They played to a 53.5 total earlier this against Indiana, 42-28, 70. That one flew over. And I like what Michigan State's offense has done. They've scored over 20. I've scored over 29 for the last 5 weeks.
Langford's run the ball well against Minnesota, and Cook is, I guess, it's weird if you want to draw maybe an analogy or a comparison. He might be Trent Dilfer. Just go out there. Don't blow the game. 17
touchdown passes he has, just 4 INTs. He has taken care of the football. He's averaging 7 yards a pass. He's done what they needed him to do, given them another dimension. They're still going to be a running team and run the football, and they run it close to 60% of the time. So does Ohio State, but they got Braxton Miller, who's got close to 900 rushing yards this year. He's a dual threat.
Only loss was to Notre Dame. Final score was 17-13. Since that game, though, Kenny, and again, it's who are you facing? They've thumped people. They've not really been involved in a close game. The closest one, actually, was the last game against Minnesota, an 11-point margin, and frankly, what was a look-ahead spot.
Right, and as I mentioned, the most difficult team that Ohio State's played this year is Wisconsin. They won 31-24 at home. A game that may not have been as close as the score indicated. I think Ohio State had a more comfortable lead. But this is going to be a battle. Ohio State's the better team, but they do have the pressure. But I do think it's going to go over. Indoors, controlled weather, both quarterbacks having good years.
There you have it. This should be a good game. For Kenny White, I'm Brian Blessing. BangTheBook.com. We got you covered. This is the last regular week of the college football season. I think we'll do some bowl games for these guys. What do you think?
I think so. We can come up with a gem or two.
Twist our arm. We'll do it for you. BangTheBook.com.